Welcome, everyone. This is Christina, the Black Swan Sibyl, greeting you in the love and the light of the one infinite creator. Welcome to our cosmic conversations where we are grounding in that 5D energy into this planet. Please like and share this link now to circumvent censorship so that we can keep in production and be inspired to level up our show. Thank you for your support. I'm happy to be speaking today with Jason. Can you say your last name? I forgot to ask you to pronounce it for me.
T.R.D.
Jason T.R.D. Welcome.
Hello.
So
Thank you
Jason
for
has
having me.
quite, yeah, thank you. Sorry, I always do that. So let me read your bio real quick. You have quite the story of overcoming tragic events. Since he can remember, he's been involved in several life-altering events, nature versus human, as well as human versus human, all before the age of 20. Growing up in a broken home with no financial ability to seek assistance, Jason went from rock bottom to building his way back to normality. Jason has also had some spiritual experiences in his journey to inner peace, imagery, visionary, and telepathic communications from his benevolent guides. Through his experiences, it gave him strength and determination to successfully complete college and earn a career in architectural designs. He currently is studying for his Ontario's BCIN certificate to be able to design and stamp drawings for residential housing and small commercial projects. Jason has plans to create new town village type communities that are completely self-sufficient and create as minimal impact on the environment as possible. It's a large goal, but with enough determination and belief, he will achieve it. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's a creative energy we could all put our hearts into and our energy behind.
Oh yes, yes. I believe we're gonna get there eventually, but it's just gonna be a quite the change from the construction industry direction that we're currently in right now. So, but we will get there. We will get there.
Yeah, what does it look like? What are the obstacles that we have to overcome?
uh, well, it's bringing some new technology into the building atmosphere. Right now, like you can look at your house, it's all basically wood concrete foundations and either brick or siding or stuff, so it's all similar kind of constructions, but there's some new ideas coming out, some 3D printing aspects. I heard they're trying that out in Ecuador, where the climate's pretty dry, so there's a big test area there, but some new ideas I think would really significantly cut down cost of house, because right now, in especially in Ontario, it is skyrocketing. The costs, it's $500,000 for a mediocre house in most areas. So it's starting to get up there.
Yeah, that's
But
pretty common
yeah.
back east where I'm from too. Well, where I was spent a lot of time. But well, tell us, Jason, talk about the same things I ask people every time. You know, what's your history? What was your what beliefs were you raised with?
All right. Well, I can usually try to get this down in about 5 minutes or so, but I'll just quickly go through my past events to kind of what got me here. So my first memories of life, I was 2 years old, and they were just little momentary kind of visionary images, just segmented. But I was in a car accident with my mother. It was winter time, and she lost the steer her vehicle and went into the ditch. She went through the front windshield, and the truck crushed her. I kept rolling in the ditch with the field, and I just remember seeing like stuff flying all over the place, out envelopes, papers, and stuff. But just little glimpses of this. So she ended up passing away that day, and it was just me, my sister, and my old man for a while. My next kind of event was, um, oh yeah, she didn't have her seatbelt on, by the way. So that's a key thing, because I kind of beat myself up over that. But my next event was I had an asthma attack where I almost suffocated. I couldn't breathe out. It wouldn't. My lungs were like kind of blocked. So by the time I got to the hospital, we drove ourselves. The doctors rushed me in because I was like almost blue in the face. I think I was about 9 or 10 at the time. So I was pretty lucky on that one. They said if you're like half hour later or something, you would have been like suffocated. So it's like, oh, okay, well, I got lucky there. I had my next event. I was in grade 7, and it was a class trip to island, and it was only a weekend trip for us to prepare for a week-long camping trip. So this weekend was just to learn about setting up tents, how to cook food, just the basics. Well, we were in a glass bottom boat, and as we were pulling out, the boat ended up capsizing. And this was in fall weather as well. So we were in grade 7, and there's about 20 of us in total, and maybe 4 adults extra, and a dog. But yeah, so the boat capsized. It was in fall weather, so it was like hypothermic type water temperatures. And we were all wearing like our, your fall gear, jacket, jeans and stuff. So we were trying to, no life jackets or anything. So the waves started getting up to about 10 to 12 feet towards the end of the boat actually sinking. So they were pretty high. But I remember swimming to where one of the life preservers were, and the waves were starting to get up to about 5-6 feet at that point. So one of the kids was like, "Oh, just dive underwater and we can try to get there." So I remember going underwater and trying to swim that way. And I had that segment of memory come back to me only a couple of years, actually just a couple of years ago. It just kind of snapped back to me. But I still don't remember exactly, because I was underwater and I couldn't get back up to the surface. And I remember I like being underwater, but I don't remember the point from where I got to where I was to, apparently I grasped up and caught one of my classmates' ankle from underwater, and he just happened to go down, reach my hand, and pull me up. So I don't remember what happened in that short period of time. So I think there's a little bit of a divine intervention at that point, but I can't remember it. But yeah, so he ended up pulling me up, and there's about, I think, 15 of us on this like little maybe 5x5 floating device. So 2 of our classmates ended up passing away on that boat, and I was almost the third one because the hypothermia. But it took us, I don't know, what felt like an hour or more just to kind of go back to shore. A yacht came by, but the water level was too low for it to get close to help us. So they ended up taking off to get help. But yeah, the waves were getting, at that point, they were like 10 to 12 feet. Like we weren't breaking them. So we were having to hold our breath going through the wave. So it was pretty eventful. And then after that, I kind of had like kind of a broken family kind of situation happen. I won't go too far into detail because it kind of involves other parties and my family, but it just, things were happening that shouldn't be happening. And I ended up taking my sister out of our house when I was 16. She was 50. She's a year younger than me, so she was 15. So we left the house and ended up living with my grandparents in a nearby town for a little bit. But that's kind of a fragile time too, the mid-teens kind of deal. And my sister really didn't, well, we didn't have a mom, so she didn't have a dad anymore for father figure. So I kind of had to like really step up my game a little bit. We were trying to figure out places to go and live and stuff, because our grandparents, they're amazing people. Like, we consider them our parents, but they only have an apartment. So, so yeah, we found a place for myself to go, which turned out to be my best friend's family, and my sister ended up going with my aunt. But during that about a year or two time period, I kind of had to like step up and try to help her out with issues and kind of be a semblance of a father figure as best as I could. Especially because, like, as awkward as it was, even like the birds and the bees conversation and stuff, like, I don't know, I had to research it and just be like, okay, like, who else is going to do this? Like, no one can right now. So I don't know, I had to kind of really step up my game, which really shortened my childhood experience.
How old are you?
I was 16 at this time, 16, 17, about that time. And then about 17 halfway through, about 17 and a half, 18, I think, is when my sister ended up finding a place with my aunt. So
So when you talk about birds and the bees, you're talking about like the girl stuff. You had to figure out how to help her through that.
Yeah, yeah, because I I had no idea, and I, my grandma, as amazing as she was, she only had a grade 4 education, which was kind of normal back in her time, and she just ended up working with her parents, and she's very French, so she doesn't. It's hard for her to communicate English wise, so and my grandpa was just like no. So I was like, all right, I gotta figure something out here. So that was yeah, that was one of the most awkward awkward moments in my entire life. But it like there was nobody else. So um and then after
Wow. I mean, it sounds like you're not even done telling me. What kind of soul takes on such drama?
that, so I'm figuring that out. Yeah, and then just after that, the last one was um well, yeah, there was one more event. Like, so there's a lot of suicide thoughts that came into this. So that's always been prevalent and throughout this entire journey. One of the closest events, just quickly, was I was a kid, and this was just after I kind of realized what happened with the car accident. So my old man kind of had a bit of a temper too. So yeah, I don't know. There's a moment where I was I had my kind of, I was set up to go, and at the last moment, something kind of just like moved my head out of the way and avoided going down that road. And it was just, yeah, I don't want to get too much into detail because it's kind of scary, but no, after that, that's when I kind of realized that like I almost felt like someone kind of just moved my head out of the way at the last moment, so I didn't, check out. And that's when I kind of realized my mom is still around, and that was kind of one of my first experiences understanding, hey, like they move on, but they're never really fully gone. So and then just the last event was I just got robbed of about $12,500, and I went from like $0 to building up myself to where I am now. So yeah, sorry if that took too long.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of psychological events and like mind games that happen with a lot of people, and everybody has stories, and everybody has their own way of going through it. But like it's I realize that it sits, in your for me it feels like it sits in my gut. It's just like you can't really describe it. It just feels like you're heavy or something there. And it took me years of like just doubting myself, blaming myself, to realize like I'm tired of living this way. And it was just like a snapping moment. Like, okay, you either can keep going spiraling down, or you can start fixing this. And when I decided to start fixing this, uh, it was just like I went through every one of those memories, events, just rolled it out, and it's painful. Like I don't like those things. I don't want to go back to them, but I had to in order to release it. So I played it all out, and then once I found a specific part of that memory, because you never know what exact part of the memory sticks with you. So I played it all out until something, ooh, what was that? And then I fixed that point. I dove in and say, hey, like you can release this. So like don't beat yourself up on this. So it's kind of like a memory game kind of deal. And I did this through each of these events, and honestly it's like you feel the pain of the memory, and then once you go back to that and you fix it, it's just like boop. It's like scissors cutting a cord in a sense. And sometimes there's multiple memories tied to one, so you have to kind of go through some I don't know, for me anyways, it was like some different memories to get it all, but it feels so much lighter, and then it's almost like you can float. So I did that through yeah, all of my events, and I'm now it's just like because all of that energy's out, I can have more love energy kind of enter, and that experience has blown my mind so far. The clarity, the easier to recall memories. It just, there's nothing bogging me down as much anymore. So it's truly like, wow. Black and white.
Um, so how did you get from, I don't, like your where you were, like what do you believe about the nature of consciousness and reality now? Like like you believe, well, I don't know what you exactly believed
Yeah.
about before, but like now you're talking about some advanced, healing techniques. How did you get there? Like how did you get from,
I I stumbled across this. Like I just kind of, it it was just like little drops of information kept coming into my head. It was just like, hey, try this. Hey, try this. Hey, try this. And then it even came to a point where I'm trying something and I don't even know what it is. I've never researched any of this. Like when I was actually going through this, I was just winging it. And then all of a sudden I'd see a video and they were explaining this and they gave it a name. I'm like, oh, okay, so okay, that makes sense then. At least I'm kind of on a decent path there. So it is hard to describe, but the biggest thing is when I decided to go through these things, that's when help started arriving in these like little nuggets here and there. And it's just thoughts. Like it just, a thought comes in and, oh, hey, why don't you try this? And it's okay, hey, that sounds like a great idea. So that's kind of how it started to progress until I started researching a little bit more. A friend of mine brought me across, like, I was going into like, the Clintons, the money, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. I was kind of researching that at a younger age too, because I was like, why is it nobody, like there's poor people and rich people? What's the difference here? And I grew up very poor too, so like I wanted to know, and that kind of led me to a big tunnel of like, whoa, there's secrets and what's going on here. Through that kind of research, I came across David Wilcock and Corey Good, and they started really opening up my eyes. The Above Majestic movie and Cosmic Secret blew my mind away. So, and then Dolores Cannon really piqued my interest. The quantum healing hypnosis technique. Oh, I love that lady. Holy cow, she had so much information. And it really opened up my mind to the types of consciousness, a little bit more to what we actually are, like rather than just being a 3D Jason here, there's actually more going on, a consciousness. And oh, it's hard to even describe it really, but I'm also scientifically, like analytical thinking as well, being an architect. So I wanted to find out what the science aspect was, and the double slit quantum video. There's a little cartoon video, but it describes a double slit theory. That piqued my attention, and then I came across the equation that the scientists are trying to solve, the equation for everything, which I saw a video, and it was then describing them solving this equation, but now they just have more questions. So they understand that there's magnetic waves that are all around, and atoms are formed by this magnetic wave by a collection, but they don't understand how that collection kind of happens in a sense. So I'm like, well, there's where spirituality takes over, because that's, I believe, where your consciousness has a big role in that, because that's but at the same time, analytically, you want to prove it with mathematics and all this other stuff, but sometimes you have to open up your mind in order to understand it, and you can't just prove it with something as easy as an equation, right? So, but I believe that's where spirituality and science sit, is if they were to just marry each other, things would change dramatically. So that's kind of my belief of like, our cells have such an ability to them that even in our memories, we can do stuff in our past just by memory work. And like, even though it doesn't seem like much, it's actually doing stuff to your body and changing how your inner being is. So I think we are a lot more powerful and a lot more gifted than what we even imagine, but we just don't quiet ourselves down and pay attention.
Right.
Sorry.
Look what's going on. I mean, we're in an information warfare. And why is it an information war? Because we're being controlled and we are creating the experience. So if we're going along with their agenda and their narrative, then we're creating what they want. But if we're not going along, well, then we're creating something else. And there's enough of us now, I think, that are, aware that we're experiencing what we're seeing, which is, chaos.
Definitely. Oh yeah. And that's what I also like researching that group I kind of mentioned before. And this is what starts making sense is like, okay, this is why they had to infiltrate everything, because of the free will choice. You can't just change someone's mind. Well, that's how they're playing this. So they're through media and music and movies, they're letting us know everything they're going to do, and which is by law, universal law. And then all of a sudden we just kind of walk right into it without even thinking. So it's not really anybody's fault per se, because they just know how to play this game a lot better than what we do, and we're just kind of caught up into this until we start awakening. And it's like, wow. And so like the Wizard of Oz, it seems like this big scary creature, this deep voice, but then when you open the curtains, it's just this guy in a chair. So
yeah, and they know the science better than we do, and they withheld it from us. Like, for example, I noticed the other day, I listened to, I don't listen to pop music as much as I used to, but I grew up with it. And so I was in a mood and I was doing the dishes or something, but I was in a very relaxed state, so I could feel myself, right? It wasn't like I was meditating, but I was conscious, and I was centered, and I was within myself. I was in my emotional body, and I felt me. And I put on this album that I haven't listened to since I was, like 6 or 7. And as soon as I started hearing, we don't really think about it. What is it that we're feeling when a song comes on? We're like, oh, I love this song. I gotta sing these lyrics. I gotta move my body. What is it that makes us do that? Because if you just are sitting chill and you suddenly turn on the song and you suddenly start feeling this vibe going, making you go, wait, I'm not in the mood for this. And you realize that you're literally being programmed. You can feel it viscerally, like you're being, there's a program that we're all subject to. And we, like you said, we give permission by volunteering, by turning on the media, turning on the whatever that they've given us, and that's where we are. So we have to become aware of that, because awareness is what creates mastery. Because once you become aware, then you can stop agreeing with it and start taking back your power.
Yes, 100%. Yes, that was beautiful. Yeah, and that's that's where Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton, the two people that I well, and many more, but they really talk about this consciousness and understanding, and it's making a lot more sense. Your environment is kind of what you're limiting yourself to. If you want to kind of change your experience, change your environment. And it could be as simple as, maybe not watching stuff on TV or certain, 3-letter news networks, or, even just taking maybe an hour away from your phone or something, just looking outside. So those are also changing of environments. Also the people you talk with, encounter, all of these things. And I think when you hear some of these things, it's just like, oh, like change, like I gotta change my whole scenery. Sometimes it's as big as relocating, but it doesn't have to be. It could be small changes too, just whatever feels best for you. And understanding, like I never understood when people are like, well, look inside, it's change inside first and the outside will change. I'm like, well, what's inside? I don't get it. And then meditation, when when the Bob Monroe Institute had a couple videos that were on YouTube, and they described his hemisync ability. They're all gone off of YouTube now. They're I think they're banned or something. But it was just two different frequencies playing in an ear each ear, which kind of made both hemispheres of the brain wake up at the same time. So it was pretty unique. And I used this to start getting into meditation and understanding, like, when you have a calm mind, it is so nice. It's peaceful. Like, oh man. But through these abilities, I tried to do some astral projection and stuff, because he has like some stages in this. And I was able to get my body out except for my head, because I was still in my head in a sense. So it felt like my whole body was rotating around my head on my one experience, and it freaked me out. I was just like, holy cow. So I opened up my eyes and I was like, oh, all right. Oh, what just happened there? I couldn't, so I haven't tried it again, but it was unexplainably, it was amazing though, because it's like I could feel it and sense it, but it was like it was like a airy kind of a feeling. Like, I don't know, it's really hard to describe. But
Yeah, you're getting into my next question. Is that the only supernatural experience or psychic experience that you've had, or are there others?
well, I was listening to, yeah, there's a channeling experience that kind of plays into the memory game a bit. And I was listening to Bashar, Abraham Hicks, and Cryon. They're my top three favorite people I've listened to, really, for channeling. And one day at work, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do this. That's it. I've listened to enough of it. I'm going to do it. So I went straight home, and I had such a determination to do it. So I just sat down. I was like, okay, just did my like regular meditation, calm my mind. And I was like, all right, I want a benevolent being to come in. I have some questions. Let's figure this out. And it was kind of strange. Like, I could like sense, like I could sense like a presence or something. And I had my eyes closed at the time. And when I started feeling this, I kind of like, my body started jerking a little bit. So I opened up my eyes, like, what the heck is going on? And my laptop was in front of me. And in my head, it was just like, yes, we know you're looking at your laptop. So I was like, oh. So I moved my eyes over, and I just had a pile of laundry there. And they're like, yes, we know you're looking at your laundry. Shall we begin? And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's see where this goes. So I closed my eyes, and then it was just like, I kind of forgot all of my surroundings, and then they picked an emotion like worthlessness, and they're like, feel that. And you can feel the pang of, if you say worthlessness or something, you can feel an emotion to it. And they're like, follow it all the way down to memory where it originated. So once I found the memory, I was like a kid in elementary school, and I was trying to fit in with this cool group, and they were going to choose between me and a guy that I was sitting next to. And I felt worthlessness because they chose him instead of me at that point. And at the time, the beings were like, well, you can change how you can't change the memory, but you can change how you took it by just saying, well, that event happened to be where I am now. And I don't need to feel bad. That is exactly what needed to happen. And it, like, changing it, how I took it was just like the same thing, cutting the cord. And it was just like one thing off of worthlessness. All right, I feel a little bit more worthfulness. I feel good about myself. And they say you can do this about anything. It's not just emotions. It could be, well, it is all based kind of on emotions, but it's places. I don't go to that place because of that memory. Well, you can cut that. I don't visit that friend because of this. So you can cut that. So it's like, even objects, whatever. It doesn't have to be just, events or anything like that. It could just be whatever at all. But that's how they kind of showed me how to work with it. And that was a big eye opener for me. So another kind of one, I was researching some Nikola Tesla, and I really inspired by that guy. But then I'm not very science based at all. As my background, I never did good in science, but I was going to bed I was heading to bed one night, and this imagery just came straight into my head, and it was just like frequencies. So it kind of led me to this frequencies idea. So if you wanted to make a rock malleable, you would just match its frequency. And if you can match its frequency, then the atoms within that rock start moving a lot more. So you can make it more malleable. Now, I think this is kind of what the premise of the guy that did the Coral Castle, I think in 1928 or something along that line. I think that's kind of the principle he was using with his magnetic little box that he had on the pyramid. You can't find that box, but I believe that it was a magnetic type idea he was working with. And even the monks, they can lift rocks. They put their hands in the rocks as well as one of their tests. So I believe it's the frequency that you can achieve. You can start altering things. So all of this imagery just kind of came in, and it was like the pyramids seemed to be more of a power plant that were charging the ionosphere, and the receivers, those things that you see the Egyptians have in their hand, they look like a resistor in a sense, and I believe that they were able to pull the power down and I don't know, use it out of the device or into their body one way or the other. So these images kind of just went and took me a while to decipher, but then I was like, okay. So I talked to a friend of mine who had a science background, and he just looked at me. He's like, yeah, what you're saying, holds some water. And I'm like, what just happened? Like, I have no idea. So yeah, there's a couple of those events that has happened. And
yeah, I'd like to vouch for that, for the audience. That's the things that you're talking about. There's truth to all that, and not only that, but the most important thing I think people need to understand, not about the data, right? Okay, data's data, whatever, but it's mostly about the frequency, and that is what creates our reality. So you can have an opinion and a judgment and a feeling about the data, but you anyway, all I'm saying is yeah, those vibrate, everything is vibration, and we are moving toward, and the more clear we become, all the things that you're talking about rewriting your memories, that's self-empowering, and people need to know that that's true. Like, yeah, you have really bad pain and whatever, your mind is capable of anything, literally. And that's what people really, really need to know. So, if you get a whim, if you're watching this video and you're just like, well, I think this is bullshit, but let me try. Let me see if I can do this. If he can do it, I can do it. And you try it and you have some experience, then it's time. It's time for you to have these experiences. And if you don't, then, whatever. I mean, you're probably not watching this video. But
well, that's true too, because I believe 100% that this works, just your attention. Because even some nights I'll come home and I'll just be like, I'll even just throw it out there. I want to watch something that's going to inspire me, or I'm going to learn something. And then my feeds list, my first thing that pops up, I watch it. I'm like, oh, hey, I was actually thinking about that the other day. So it can happen with anything, but it's just becoming more aware of yourself, and really the biggest thing is just love yourself. Like, honestly, in the mirror, it may sound weird and funny, but I even I tell myself I love myself just looking at myself, because you never really tell your body that you love it. Look at what it does for you every day. Just say you love it. And honestly, every time I do, I get goosebumps. I'm like, all right on, we're gonna have a good day today. Okay. Another thing is, I don't know if it'll work or not, but hey, I keep saying it. It's like, I want to look like I'm 25 for 200 years. So, because why not?
that's how you do it.
Yeah, and if you say it enough, then maybe you never know. So, but just these little things, it just talking to yourself. They say, like, when you grow plants, it's beneficial to talk to them, right? Well, Dr. Imoto Masuru, he did a water experiment, and they proved exactly that. Like, you can talk positively to water and talk negatively to water. And if you froze and looked at the structure of the cells, you can see the difference. Well, if we're made of like, I don't know, like 65 to 70% water, then it would be worthwhile to talk to your water cells. Hey, I love you. Bam. And flourish. So, and just consuming lots of water too helps. But no, it's talk positively about yourself and learn to start loving yourself. And it's a battle for it was a battle for me for a while too. I hated myself for so long. But at some point, I think everyone has kind of a breaking point where there's just like, okay, you know what? I'm done. And at that point, magic can happen. That's what I believe.
I believe it too. So what are your strategies for keeping your vibe up?
Smiling. I love smiling. It just makes me laughing. I'll sometimes just laugh for no reason, or I'll just think of something to make myself laugh, just so I start laughing, and all of a sudden it's just like, all right, yeah. So I always love to smile as much as possible. But also, I kind of had another like vision where I kind of was able to like look outside of kind of the 3D realm of like what's going on here too. And I don't know, it's hard to kind of describe, but all the events that have occurred and that are occurring on Earth were all kind of necessary for this time. Like, it's hard to describe. There's Celestine prophecy. Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, okay. So there's a part in the book where the writer sees a girl in a restaurant and the parents are kind of berating her to the point where the girl finally snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I believe like each one of us has that snapping point, but all at different levels. So I think all of everything that's going on currently right now in the world is so vast that it has to grasp everyone's snapping point in order to progress to this next stage. So even though it's like on a 3D level, with some of the stuff is disgusting, gross, and like unworldly, just bad, very bad. But on a larger scale, we needed that snapping point in order to say enough is enough, and then this is our growth in a sense. Like that's how I kind of see it. So I still sometimes get trapped in like, oh my God, look what our government's doing. Oh my God, everything's locking down. What the heck? But then it's like, whoa. Trust. Everything is going to work out. It's just the journey from here to how we know this is going to end. You just hold to the plan, and I think it's going to work out. But yeah, so I just keep telling myself, I know it's going to work out. Just have to hold on. And then I look at the sky or go stargazing or something like that. I don't know. I just kind of reconnect with nature, and that helps a lot too. So
What do you think people struggle with the most? Because that's hard for a lot of people. A lot of people really are down. Some people are taking their lives. What encouragement can you give those people? What motivation or?
Well, the biggest thing really is to meditate, or even just research it. Just find out what it is, because a lot of the times you get so overwhelmed by how many thoughts are running through your mind, because there's so many, and then it's just you demean yourself because it's like, oh, I want to do this, and you overwhelm yourself with stuff you want to do that you eventually don't want to do anything, because you're like, oh, I'm so tired, because you're thinking so much about all these things. So I think like when you like want to start to like learn and take care of yourself, just the decision alone to make that is huge. That's still like powerful. But yeah, just meditating, and sometimes you might sleep the first few times you try it or so, but just hey, whatever. Or even just research and find what it does. When you can start calming your mind, then you can start kind of feeling your thoughts and able to kind of direct your well-being. So now you don't have all these overwhelming thoughts coming in all the time. You can kind of relax. And I think that if schools were really to have a class on this, people would be so much better off. At least they would learn about it. Calming your mind is a big thing. And I think that would help so many people.
Well, yeah. I mean, we could talk about that on a whole nother video
Yeah,
about schools, because there's a reason why they don't want us to meditate. If they did, if we did, if they, I mean, why would they promote meditation when it would totally undo all of their programming?
exactly. Oh, I know. I think, I don't know, those that are able to homeschool and are doing so are, well, I mean, I'm going to say, like, I can't wait to eventually see how their children turn out, just because, like, they're not getting any of this programming. Like, I don't know. It takes a lot for parents to do that, but sadly, what else is there unless you try to unteach what the kid got taught that day every day? Like, I don't know. It's hard. It's a battle right now.
I think it's a great, it's a big pause. It's an opportunity for us, like you said, to have a breaking point. And, we needed to stop what we were doing because we were just on a treadmill. And, if you're on a treadmill and you've got headphones blasting, you can push yourself a lot harder than you probably would if you were present in your body, and that's where we were as a society. We were just not present in our body. We were in our routines, and this has disrupted our routines, which has forced or invited, not everybody has accepted the invitation, but right, to go like you said, go within and start meditating and asking questions. A lot of people are still, and that's hard. That's hard for people, is to start to look at themselves. That's why we don't, right?
Yeah, I see that very much. Yeah, so much truth with that, because it's not an easy thing even just to look at yourself. So yeah, if you can just look in a mirror and just once just say I love you to yourself every day, one time a day, then even that could start having a change. Like, just something easy. It doesn't have to be a big change in your life that you need to do. It could just be something small. But also, the Dolores Cannon and even Julia Cannon now too, um, they had so much knowledge for me, going through to understand, how we kind of choose these lives, a bigger scale understanding of, like, who we are and to deal with the consciousness and everything. So when you start wanting to know more about who you actually are and what your whole body is, you kind of start to understand, okay, well, I chose those events that happened in my life. Why did I choose them? Well, now I'm seeing what's happening in the world now, and all of these experiences are starting to, oh, hey, that's why I went through this. I'm starting to connect the dots in a sense. So it's like a ultimate plan that we all chose, but you just have no memory of it until you start doing a bit of work and it comes in. So, and also, like, don't beat yourself up if you meditate for like once in a week and you wanted to do it twice. Don't beat yourself up. Like, it's all about progress, and you can be your biggest bully in a sense. And yeah, just be positive with yourself and encourage yourself. Yeah, I did it one time a week. That's awesome. That was better than doing it no times, before. So you always try to find a positive in your situation so you can build yourself up, and that'll actually encourage this. So
Well, Jason, how are you moved to inspire or help along the consciousness shift?
well, so right now I just kind of started my true reality disclosure uh uh little group here. So I have a group of about 20 people. We kind of talk and share some ideas about what's going on. I'm also currently writing an autobiography to kind of more detail go through all of the events and the psychological taxes that it made on me. I also want to continue with more of these videos, but I've also been studying to do my BCIN lately as well. So I'm almost ready for that. And then I want to start making some more of these videos and doing some more podcasts and just try to get out there. So I'm connecting with a few more Canadians, which is awesome. More and more people are waking up. But yeah, I love just connecting with everybody and just kind of, hey, maybe at some point someone might, learn something from my story or give them encouragement. So I want to try to at least get it out there and see what happens.
Well, I'll tell you, Jason, on a personal note, and I'll just share, I'll let the audience observe my question, but we're seriously talking about creating, I mean, we're in Europe now, but, we're not always going to be here. We have 9 years to plan and accumulate and do whatever it takes to manifest an off-grid community. We want to create a place where like-minded individuals, we come and we live and we have, an intentional place, spiritual, you name it, So what would someone like me who wants to, develop that from scratch, who has no experience, what do I do? Where do I start?
I'd say researching, just researching, because there's so many different things involved in that kind of line. I mean, what are you going to do for your plumbing? What are you going to do for your heating and cooling? What are you going to do for your location? Where is your location? What is there, earthquakes, hurricanes? Is there snow? But like upper Canada, like there's a lot of different variables into something like a community build. But also looking into the kind of new methods and materials that are out there. Like I mentioned, the 3D printing. The only reason is just because you can actually print houses for like 10% of the cost of doing it in regular construction, and able to save more money for higher advanced windows or doors, or you could integrate other type of systems in there. But yeah, I would research more, just more about what you kind of want to do. And once you have a clear idea of what exactly you want to do, then you can research and find out. Like I did a little bubble diagram in a sense, and then I kind of researched those little areas, and I just kept on doing that. I have a construction background as well. I did that for about 10, 12 years. So that kind of got me into the creative design build. So now I'm an architect now, or architectural technologist. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. And if you're in Canada, passive house information is very good for keeping insulation in your house and everything like that. If you want to try to learn a little bit more the intuitive behind that, that's a good source too. But yeah.
That's excellent. I could see you totally having a business, because I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I mean, we're not the only people that want to create. I mean, look what's going on. This isn't going to change, and that's the thing. On a side note, I posted a thing about wearing an mask, and how no, I'm a patriot. Of course, I'm not going to conform. But if my vibe is creating my reality, and I'm going to choose to have a positive experience, right? So why am I going to put myself and be a rebel and defiant and speak my truth because I'm not going to conform and I'm going to be that's not the vibe I want to create. That's not the world I want to create. No, I don't want to conform. No, I don't agree with it, blah, blah, blah. But I want to create a world where, and I know the outcome. So, it's about the experience I want to have. I can have the nasty experience, but the outcome's not going to change. So knowing the outcome, I'm just going to sail along. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to make a statement. I'm going to wear, because I always wear black anyway, but I'll just have everything covered except my eyes, right? Because and I'll wear sunglasses, and there'll be two of us. Eric and I will be both the same. Like we'll just sit there like this, and we'll talk to each other, but we'll have masks on. So like we'll just, and we always laugh. So it's bound to happen that suddenly we're sitting there like this still, and it's all quiet on the bus, and suddenly one of us, oh, it's always me, just laugh, and it scares people, and if we walk around looking like aliens, or I don't know, it's an opportunity to make fun of the absurdity of it all. I mean, seriously, when I go out, I mean, I'm in the Netherlands, so we're required to wear a mask, and dealing with it, whatever, I've never had to deal with it up until this point, but do I want people to attack me? No, I don't like when people are nasty to me, so I'm gonna try and like play along. But nobody else gets it either. They all think it's ridiculous. I'm like, okay, I have to wear my, sign of conformity device. How you guys doing? They're like, yeah, whatever. And everybody's like pulling it down. So, we're all starting to see what's really going on. And people aren't, there are some, and that's the thing. This is the point. There are some that totally buy it, and they're like freaking out. And those are the dangerous ones, if you want to call them that, because they're the enforcers. Those are the ones you got to watch out for, because they're fucking crazy and they don't have any rules. It's all arbitrary. They could knife you. You don't know. Why are you going to set yourself up for that? Especially, I have kids. So, I want to get in and out, and I'm a ghost. I'm invisible. You know what I mean? I'm not even there. You don't see me. I float in and I float out. I don't cause drama, because I had enough drama in my life. This is what I came here for. And I'm watching it like with my popcorn, and it's wonderful. I think it's great. Let them fight. They have to do it. We don't. I mean, I don't. And they're like, I'm going to speak my truth, because I'm trying to gather people like me so we can all watch together. Right? Because it's funny as shit. It's funny. It's about it. I mean, there are times when I get pulled into my own, but it's always my personal stuff, right? It's always the personal demons that really get you, because they're the ones that know your buttons. So, but this other stuff, it's like, this other stuff it's cake, really.
Well, I've just because right now there's also so many silent people at the same time, because like I mean, there's no denying, like, if you want to see, in my opinion, if you want to see how far the MK Ultra technologies were, look at your news, look at your media, look at what the radio's doing, all this conformity and stuff. I mean, I had one family that has already just cut me and my girlfriend out completely. I've been called numerous names from other family
sometimes
members.
Trash takes itself out.
Well, but at the same time, like, for me, like, I still love them and I still hold them to high respect, just because I know it's not really their fault.
It's not about love, though. It's not
It's
personal.
just, if they knew how they were being played, and it's like, but it sucks though, because it's like, like, there's a family that I usually go to Christmas with, and now it's like, okay, well, not like anybody can have Christmas in Ontario anyways, so but that's another story. But yeah, so there's, like, when you speak your truth, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to just stand up and just yell at you, or friends that are part of this mask programming. And I don't know, if you stay silent long enough, then they're just going to assume like you're with them, in a sense. And when you say one good thing, they're just going to blow up on you. But I don't know, there's a lot more people waking up and speaking out now. Just, see if there's a group you can join and just talk a little bit, because some people feel trapped that they can't talk about, the T word or mask or whatever, and even though they might think about it, they know people are just going to, call them out and judge them and everything. But really, I think there's more people on that boat than there are people against it, but the people against it are just louder.
Yeah. Well, I'll just tell you, my perspective, where I'm coming from, is I've already let everybody know that I don't have anybody in my life anymore that doesn't support where I'm going. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's been 5 years since I was stuck with family or friends who didn't, support my truth as I see it. So, you know, I understand that it's different for people who are still extracting themselves. Like, you still have to go through the whole process, but what you'll see when you get out there is there's nothing there. There's no there to hang on to. So all the extracting is just you dealing with your own feelings about them, because they don't have the feelings that you do about whatever. So when I talk about things, and obviously, I'm not an angel or a saint. I have feelings. I'm angry, and when I notice it when I'm talking about certain things. It's like, oh yeah, I see myself in my reflection. I'm like, oh, and I'm still angry about some things, but that's okay. I mean, this is the thing. I am angry about things that I have no control over, right? Things that things didn't go the way I had hoped that they would, and I'm pissed about it. But mostly, I'm pissed about how long it took me to get it, how much how far deeper down into the hole of pain I had to go before I accepted what I was being shown by the people that I loved. And now I'm recuperating, and like I said, I've given my last fuck, and I'm recovering. And now the fucks that are regenerating only go out to people who vibe with me. And at this point, I see what's going on in the world, and I don't need to participate in it because I know what's going on. But when I say, well, I'm speaking my truth and I want people to align with it, that means, I'm going to say, mask or no mask, use your discernment. Trump or Biden, use your discernment. I'm going to go with my truth, and I'm not going to not say that anymore.
Yeah.
Why do you think people struggle with being authentic?
Because of the backlash.
Yeah.
You have so many things standing up against you at this moment. You have, mainstream media that, is pushing these ideologies out at you. You see on TV that it's okay for Maxine Waters to call out people and go give them a hard time in the streets. And then they turn around and say that, the people supporting TR are the people raging and all this stuff. It's like, it doesn't,
it's gaslighting.
For me, it's just like, how, yeah, like, you don't see the hypocrisy. It's just, and even here in Canada, like, Canada's, it's still part of the Commonwealth. So it's about as, the only thing is we can see what's happening in Australia and UK and kind of judge what's going to be happening here. And it's just like,
not looking good.
No, our prime minister is swarmed with investigation, and our version, our Charter of Rights, our Constitution, is broken. So with an emergency act, it can actually bypass the Charter of Rights. But the only issue is they're supposed to create evidence every, I think, 30 days or something to prove that this is still good. But it's a big. It's like we could see blatant tyranny going on here, and there's like what can we do about this? And especially the media is in his pocket too, so there's there's not much there. So I don't know, in this case,
intentional communities.
Yes,
we're all going off grid into our own our American flags. So I don't need your money, y'all. I'm not asking for your money. I'm asking for your vibration. If you want a frequency in North America to create a community with like-minded individuals, go to my website and send me a message. I'm just gathering people at the moment. People, that's it. People and their creative excitement and vibe. If you want to see that manifest, I'm not asking you for anything but that. I'm not like money. We're talking 5D. Do you understand?
I love what you are doing. This is amazing. I've been following the videos you've been putting out so far as well. So I just saw your Tyler Koala, and you just posted Aaron Kuhn as well there. So I was uh, blessed enough to actually meet them in Camp Disclosure earlier this year in North Carolina. So what a great couple of guys. So excellent job on the interviews. I just wanted to say I I really appreciate what you're doing, and this is a good way to go because everybody resonates with someone else's story. So by doing what you're doing, you're like covering so many different bands of light,
Yeah,
and
I'm
this
trying.
is beautiful what you're doing. I wanted to say that. No, thank
Thank
you.
you.
This is amazing. So you're definitely shining bright light. That's for sure. So keep up the amazing work that you're doing.
Well, I humbly thank you for those words, and I will try to receive them graciously. Let's push pause. No, I'm just kidding. Compliment. Must not reject. No, I'm just
Hey,
kidding.
that's one of the biggest things I've always struggled with is yeah, asking for help, knowing because like I kind of started to raise myself in a sense. So I know like I want to do things my way. I want to do this, and that's always been my mentality. But now it's just like, whoa, that's something you got to learn there. We're like, oh, okay. So
Mm.
now and it feels so awkward. Like when I ask for help, I'm like, oh, but now it's a lot easier, a lot more fluent because I know it's like I need to learn this. I need to learn to do this, and not like crazy extensive amounts, but just learn to get into the giving receiving kind of idea rather
I'm
than
gonna
a
have to say
very
I disagree. I'm sorry. You're the first guest I'm gonna have to disagree with.
oh yeah.
You don't have to learn it. You don't have to learn it. You have to remember it and get rid of that fucking programming that is blocking you from
Yeah,
remembering that that's who you are because you
yeah,
came here from that. And this is just insane asylumville on planet Earth. You just forgot. That's what's happening. You're insane right now because you're on all these drugs and whatever shit they've got in our environment that's making you forget your divine nature. So
yes.
it's not relearning. We don't
Well, it's
forget
yeah,
that stuff. That's why it's so uncomfortable. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're having this conversation. Is because it's like we're lonely, man. Where's my people? Because I don't dig it here. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is we're out here and now we're connecting. So get your ass on social media.
yeah. Yep, 100%. Hey, it was even termed the battleground. So yeah, we know it's all controlled, but you can still get in there and still, make waves and everything, whatever you need to do to get out there. I don't know. So
Just
that's
be the ghost. Be a ghost. They can't catch us. Especially now. I mean, if all of us stand up,
it's
don't
too
pay your
many.
taxes, y'all. Stop going with the rules. I'm telling you. I didn't say that, really. I mean, are they going to come after me? Really? If we all did it at once,
Yeah, that's strength and unity. Yeah,
that's where
strength.
we're headed. All right. Well, tell us where we can get access to you and your content and your platform.
So right now I have my videos uploaded to YouTube, True Reality Disclosure, as well as Bitchute. I have that account set up. I'm still uploading a couple videos yet, but I think I have 3 on Bitchute. Same thing, True Reality Disclosure. I'm also on Parlor, True Reality Disclosure, same thing. And Facebook, it's just Jason and Patty because they kind of blocked my last account that was tied to True Reality Disclosure. So I had to create a new one. I just used my name, but there you go. So yeah, that's it so far. I have a website I'm still working on myself. I'm not very tech savvy, so I'm really just stumbling across this still. So that website will be coming shortly, but yeah, it's still in the works right now. But
I find WordPress super easy. I had a friend help me with my website. Like he did all of it. Brian BB, a shout out to Studio 3B. He helps spiritual people, actually. If you guys want to go, Studio 3B, BBB, check him out. I hope you guys don't overwhelm him. But he does good work. He does good work. You just got to know what you know, your vision, you know, but he'll help pull it out of you. But anyhow, yeah.
That's awesome.
Once it got set up, and now I maintain it myself. It's I like WordPress. I mean, I don't get paid by them. I'm just saying, it's, you know, if you're looking for something just to get it started, that's what I did. I got on there and I didn't do all the work to it. You know, I just started whatever for a year, and then I put work into it, like did the website building thing a year later. Awesome. But just getting started is super easy.
Okay.
You have a podcast?
Yes. So I do my own videos through True Reality Disclosure, and I've still working on a couple interviews I'm going to be doing in the next couple days or next week or so. So yeah, I still do that on the same platform. Eventually I want to come up with some comedic comedy type skits about reality, but that's in the works as well. But
call me, I want to play.
Oh yeah, man, this is gonna be hilarious. But anyway, so it'll all be under True Reality Disclosure though. So, and
right.
I'm not looking for any YouTube making money or anything along that line. I love doing this, and I love like creating this kind of stuff. So this is like a big passion of mine. So
that's the thing, you know, people put out content, and the motivation behind the content attracts their viewers, right? If your content is about, hey, I'm going to tell you how to do things, or what's up, or this is the truth, or, you know, advice here, and you're doing it to control people, then you're going to get those kind of people that want to be controlled or that are controlling. But if you're just like, hey, here's my vibe.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, you want to play or not? And then, you know, people don't want to play. Peace out. I gave my last fuck today. I did. I'm still mad about it. Sorry, everyone. I love you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for putting up with my healing process. All right. No. It was great meeting you. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you so very much. I really appreciate this. And this is, this was amazing. So I look forward to more of your work coming out, and this is going to be amazing. So yeah.
Don't hang up. Just say bye to YouTube. Bye, YouTube. And Bitchute and the list of people that are watching and listening. Blah, blah. Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks.